Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and I'm back again this week to do a recap of an entire week's worth of Amberlynn Reid videos that I missed, that I didn't watch. Two of which are specifically like her weigh-in little situation special videos that she does once a week, and the other two are seemingly vlogs, although at this point in Amberlynn's life and content, most of what we see her do is just sit and talk at the camera anyways. So I'm not really entirely sure how any of these are all that different. And she talks about weight loss stuff a lot in all of them. And if you've been watching me for the past, 2 to 3 years at this point, y'all know that talking about her weight loss stuff is not necessarily my favorite thing to discuss because I'm not a medical expert, I'm not a weight loss expert, I'm not really an expert on anything, at least when it comes to things that would be applicable in this situation, outside of maybe having a better understanding than a lot of people about Amberlynn's behavior on the internet and things like that. So that's the expertise I'm gonna bring to this conversation. A lot of the videos that I missed in the past week all have to do with her new weight loss surgery journey that she's very excited about and talks a lot about in all of these videos. You also may have noticed that I was kind of like MIA on the internet for a few days, although I don't normally post on the weekends anyways, so maybe you didn't notice, but I was in Vegas from Friday up until yesterday, Monday, and I was celebrating my 34th birthday. One of my friends said, "Do you want to go to Vegas for your birthday?" And I said, "Yeah," and we did, and it was great. I had a wonderful time. Met so many people actually who follow me on YouTube in Vegas. So if we met, hi, hello. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hello to me. I had such a great time. It was such a great weekend. So yeah, that was also part of this though, is that I was like, you know, what can I do on my 3-hour flight home from Vegas? How about I watch a week's worth of Amberlynn Reid content and try to catch up on it? And because I'm doing a week's worth of content, I'll also put some timestamps so you can skip around to the video you want to hear my thoughts on, whatever it might be, etc. So go ahead and use those if you want. Also appreciate those of you that just watch the whole video regardless. So the first video that I hadn't watched yet was her weigh-in for week 5, and this was like shortly after she had just gone to her bariatric weight loss surgery appointment, class thing, whatever it might be. And in this video, she clarifies, which I don't really understand, but she clarifies that she's going to be doing these videos every Sunday, or filming them every Sunday and weighing in every Sunday as long as she's at home.
So every Sunday we're gonna do weigh-in, or Sundays that I can and I have a scale, because who knows, I could be on a vacation. That's not likely, but anytime that I am home on a Sunday and I'm able to do a weigh-in, we are going to do them.
Which, one, I'm not convinced she's not going to be at home, because that seems to be mostly what her vlogs have been, at least. But also, is that not what she already had told us and promised us? And then, she hasn't even been consistent with that? I don't know. I mean, I just expected that that would be what she was already doing. But apparently, maybe sometimes she's not at home on Sundays. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. And of course, she brings up the stains on her shirt that she can't get out. They're permanent stains caused by the fabric softener in her washer.
By the way, I do have, stains. But these are the ones that don't come out.
And she has mentioned those stains before, and honestly, I probably wouldn't have noticed them on this particular shirt, or at least I wasn't looking for them. I was also watching on my cell phone though, so it's probably harder to see there whenever I did my initial first watch. But either way, the thing that I actually find most fascinating about all of this is that we know she owns so much clothing that she's never worn before, and yet she's like, you know what I'm gonna do? Keep wearing this clothing that has some permanent staining on it. That's what I'm gonna do. Forget the clothes I've never touched in my closet before. I'm just gonna keep wearing the shit that has stains on it, because why the fuck not? One character that I've been wondering about in the Amberlynn Reid universe is the little cycling little gadget thinger madoo. You know what I'm talking about? Amberlynn clears that up.
So let's get into it. The first question is, are you using the stationary foot cycle Feline got you for Christmas in 2021? So I was using it, but as you guys know, I tore ligaments in my ankle and I was not able to use it then, obviously.
It's fascinating to me how long this like dangling ankle is gonna be a part of this story, of this situation type of deal. I'm very curious how long we're gonna keep bringing it up at this point. Because, you know, she's talked a lot about how, like, she's, like, better from it, she's recovered from it, she's moving around a whole lot more, but then, like, now it's a reason why she can't do the little foot thing, whoever. But you know what? Different movements probably do cause different types of experiences with your dangling ankle. I just thought it was interesting that it was brought up again, because I was like, oh, I thought we had moved past the dangling ankle, but I guess not. She does give an update for what the next step of weight loss surgery is. She talks about how, in general, it's a lot, so she's gonna try to just focus on talking to us about things as they come up so that you know, she's not just like overwhelmed by sharing all the information all at once, which I guess makes sense. So she does list off a lot of random things that she needs to do, and I guess if you're interested in what that is, like, go watch her video. But the one thing that she mentioned was that the goal that the doctor had for her is just to lose 1 pound. And she talks about being surprised by that, like, because a lot of people watch My 600 Pound Life and, like, get their idea about weight loss surgery from Dr. Now and things like that, which I do agree. Like, I don't think that the Dr. Now experience is the same experience that every single bariatric surgeon, whoever, whatever. So I do agree with her. But I also, you know, just would think that, you know, maybe if she watched things like, I don't know, let's say Dr. Smith from the 1,000 Pound Sisters, you know, the doctor that Tammy and Chris both go see. My thoughts are just like, if she watched that, she would know that the bar he sets is very low. The bar that he sets for his patients in terms of what they need to lose in order to get surgery, very low for him. So, you know, I would think she wouldn't be too surprised about that. She also talks about her experience with the outpatient program that she was in terms of, like, recovering from a binge eating disorder. And listen, I want to preface right now before I get into the whole entire video, because she brings up binge eating disorder a whole lot in this particular week of her content. And she talks about how quitting outpatient was something that made her feel empowered. In particular, she also talks about how this program was health at every size. And I honestly, after her using this phrase many, many times, there's been many people in my comments who have talked about how she doesn't really understand what health at every size is. You know, there's the concept of you could be healthy regardless of your size. But from my understanding, from what a lot of people have actually mentioned in my comments, the health at every size concept is that you deserve a right to good health care at every size. And, like, you deserve right to health care where they don't just automatically assume that, like, maybe a problem with your ankle or a problem with whatever you're experiencing is automatically due to your weight. Not to say that it couldn't be because of your weight, but just that, like, you deserve access to getting good health care regardless of your size. Now, I'm sure there are differing opinions on what that is throughout the community, but I just, like, don't necessarily even think that that's what she means in this particular situation, because every time she talks about it, it really just makes it sound like both her psychologist that she met with through this program and the program as a whole suggested that, like, their goal of their program was not weight loss, but just to help you overcome an eating disorder. And I do think that those are two very different things you're treating. And that's why I was always confused that she even went there to begin with, because it didn't seem like she was interested in actually treating an eating disorder and more so interested in trying to lose weight. So it seems like from the beginning, her mindset about what she wanted didn't even match up with the goals of this program to begin with. And that remains something that's very frustrating to me, because it doesn't sound like that's ever what their intentions were. So, like, why did you go there to begin with? So anyways, I digress. We're gonna hear more about binge eating and her thoughts on if she has a disorder versus if she's just a food addict. and I have more thoughts about that as she talks more about it. So I guess stay tuned. She does discuss how she's already down 5 pounds. She is at 515 in this video. And after she shares that weight loss update, she goes on to talk about how she is doing all of these new things because of things that she learned through this weight loss clinic. At the point in this particular video, she talks about all of these things that she's learned through the weight loss surgery clinic, about how, like, she repeats it like it's like brand new information to her. It's all these things that, like, she's never even thought of or considered before, even though we've heard her say them a lot. And it's really just limited to this particular video, because by the time we get to the end of this week of videos, she's talking about all of this stuff like, oh yeah, I totally already knew that. So it's a weird dynamic and shift in her videos this week. But in this one, she's like, wow, I'm just like learning so much. And by the end of the week, it's like, oh wow, I like already knew all of this. I feel so affirmed that I like already knew what I was doing the whole time. And it's interesting because in this video, one, she talks about how she's going to start limiting takeout again.
They want me to limit eating out. I don't have to like stop takeout completely, but limit it. But I just feel like takeout is triggering for me, so I'm gonna like limit. Like very rarely am I gonna have takeout.
Because takeout is a trigger for her. But at the beginning of this month, she talked about how she couldn't entirely limit her takeout because that was also triggering for her. And she also talks about how the way she's being told to eat now is very similar to how her and wifey were eating when they did keto.
You get to eat normal. You get to eat a low carb normal diet, and they give you a list of foods to eat. And that's what me and Feline were doing anyways, some months ago when we were doing keto.
She's legitimately so close to understanding it and getting it. And it's like, girl, none of this is new. None of this is new. But in general, and I'll repeat this a few times, I'm glad that she's feeling positive and good. She does mention that a lot. I think one thing to keep in mind is that Amberlynn has this tendency to do these things all the time on her channel. She gets very excited at the beginning of new things, or she gets very excited and like buys a whole bunch of things that she really likes for the first time. You know, we're gonna see that kind of with like the diamond painting even in this week. Like, she's so excited about it until like something new and shiny comes along, right? Like it was previously scratch art that she was so excited about, then it was the Legos, then it was the mini brands, and now we're looking at diamond painting. So you can think about all of those things also as a metaphor for how she approaches new journeys and things like that on her channel. So then she gives us a vlog. All right, so we're moving on to the first vlog of the week. It's called Whole Foods Grocery Haul and Sitting with Discomfort bar vlog. And get ready to hate the word discomfort. You know how Amberlynn loves to latch onto a word and use it over and over and over again. Again, a sign or example of her getting really excited about a new concept, new thing, and like being so attached to it, and then in a week or so, she's gonna be over it, okay? I'm just saying that that's like the pattern of behavior on her channel. No judgment, she's not an awful person for doing that, but it's a sign of behavior, of repeated behavior on her channel. And she starts this video off with trying out diamond painting for the very first time. Very riveting. We get to see her place a couple diamonds, and she's having so much fun.
Wow, this is fun. You guys, I am having way too much fun with this. Like, this is, oh my god, so relaxing, fun, and therapeutic.
And I'm glad somebody is. I'm glad somebody's having fun. She also does a Amazon Prime Whole Foods grocery delivery, and it's genuinely a very boring part of the video. The only thing of interest to me really is that she talks about how much she loves that they deliver the groceries in paper bags, but then like every single item in the paper bags is in some kind of plastic wrapping or container. She also shows a clip of some homemade stuffed peppers.
So I just made homemade stuffed bell peppers, which I have never ever done before.
And they were so sussy looking, guys. I was just like, what? What is this? And she says that she's gonna film a recipe video or something for it at some point. So if she does, I will remake it and try it for you, because that ish looked... At one point in the video, she reminds us that she's weird about shrimp, but she still loves to eat it in small quantities.
I'm weird about shrimp. Like, I really am. The texture, not the greatest, but I like the taste, so I eat it in small quantities.
And I just love how she's conveniently forgetting about Shrimp Gate, where she did not eat shrimp in small quantities. In fact, ate it in a large enough quantity that people took concern.
Hey guys, okay, so we have another mukbang. We're going to eat shrimp with cocktail sauce. Okay, so I'm really excited. It's good.
And then this is where we get the first conversation about sitting with discomfort.
I have been sitting with discomfort. Something I've been doing is when I feel like I need to eat something, it's like I've noticed lately, I don't think I have binge eating disorder issues. I think that I just massively like to eat all the time because I'm addicted. And it's like, it's so weird for me to be like truly like becoming aware of my actual issues now. So like when I feel myself having that sensation of like a binge, it's not a sensation to binge. It's simply a sensation to eat. And it's out of boredom. It's out of emotional sadness. And what I do now is I sit with the discomfort. I have cried. Because if I'm choosing to eat for any other reason other than hunger and nourishing my body, then I'm gonna have to sit with that discomfort and accept it for what it is.
And honestly, I don't mind what she has to say about the concept of like sitting with discomfort. I think that's something that a lot of people could try to do more often, of like putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and learning about yourself and learning about, you know, like how you respond to that kind of stuff. I mean, that I think could apply to like, you know, dealing with food addiction, but also so many other things in life. But it's clear that she just learned this like one concept somewhere. I don't know, maybe like the weight loss surgery clinic, and she's running with it. And, you know, it also seems to be helping her. I don't want to like discredit that, but ooh, she loves to talk about the discomfort, y'all. That we are in Discomfort land, okay? But this is also where she discusses the concept that she doesn't actually think she has a binge eating disorder and that she's just addicted to food. And you know, this is like where I can't really speak to anything because I'm not a medical professional. I don't know what the differences between either of those things would be. But it is also very hard, and she, I think, hits at this a little bit later in a different video. And it's hard for me to understand, I think, just because I have been watching for so long, and she's said so many times at this point that she is a person with a binge eating disorder, and also that like we've full on seen her post videos of like what I eat on a binge or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so I think for me, it's hard to understand, just because I've watched her for so long, how there can be such a sudden switch in terms of like how she's viewing these things. At different points, because she repeats this conversation a lot over various different videos, she talks about how like she of course is talking to medical professionals about this, and I hope she is. I'm also a little bit confused because like all of this revelations that she's having about it seem to be happening while she doesn't have a psychologist right now, because she said she's switching psychologists and things like that. And so I'm like, where is this revelation coming from? If you're still not even, I mean, she literally talks in multiple of these videos about how she doesn't have a psychologist appointment with a new one yet. So there's a lot of questions I have about where this sudden switch came from. But overall, she does talk about how she's just trying to sit with the discomfort of like, am I really hungry? Am I just bored? Am I just like wanting food because I'm addicted to food? Whatever it might be. And it seems to be helping her. So I don't have a lot more to talk about it in regards to that. Just hope that she does talk to a professional about it, to be honest. And also, this video just abruptly ended. Like, it just she was in the middle of a deep point, or like talking about something that like is more than just surface level when it comes to her weight, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
And that goes for anybody that has lost weight, hundreds of pounds. It's like you try it over and over and over and over and over again, and then it's finally that one time, and it just clicks and something happens.
I kind of wish we could get out of this era of Amberlynn videos where she's just like, I don't know, she says she spends all this time editing, but then just like is clearly splicing clips together and just mashing them up and not even like giving us an intro, outro, or anything like that. So I would love to have an official outro just so I could know that she's done with her thoughts. I actually had autoplay on accident, and it just started going into the next video, and I didn't even realize that like I had moved on to a new Amberlynn Reid video. The next video is called January Weight Loss Update Snack Plate and New Office Decor Bar Vlog. And immediately I gotta ask why she's wearing this goddamn permanently stained shirt again already.
Okay, so I have a little grocery haul.
I mean, to be honest, who knows how long in between these videos things happen. I don't understand the timeline because she is no longer posting dates on her videos again, and you know, who knows, like nothing about the videos is particularly tied to anything time related. You know, when we were watching Vlogmas, you could at least know what was happening or when it was because we were counting down to Christmas. But now it's like, I don't know, this could have been a week ago, 2 days ago, who knows. And a big part of this video is another grocery haul. She talks about how she's just trying to avoid going in person and like getting smaller delivery orders. That's all fine. The grocery haul was boring though. And she's been doing these snack plates in all of these videos, and she decides that she needs to show us how to make a snack plate.
Alrighty, so I'm hungry, so I'm gonna make me a little snack plate, and I figured I would do it for you guys to show you how I'm doing it this time.
Like, I truly could have never figured that out without her, but it was so satisfying.
That is my little meal here. I could have used a smaller plate, to be honest, but this is so satisfying to me because you have your sweet and your salty and your crunchy and your soft, but you also have your protein and your fats and your fibers and everything that you need.
Yep, very, very satisfying. Thank you so much, Amberlynn. She also opens up a mystery, like, blind bag thing, which I was really excited for at first, because I'm like, oh, I did like the little mini brand moment. But it was a no for me. I didn't find it as satisfying as the mini brands. And it was also all the way back from when Pink Sparkles sent her a package. And I'm like, that's just been sitting around, which I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised about, knowing how she buys things and they just sit around and she doesn't do anything with them. She also shares a life hack on how to drink more water.
So this might be dumb to some, but it's totally fine. But it's something that's been working for me. If I take a sip of drink, a soda, a sip of drink, that means I have to take a sip of water.
And yeah, I guess whatever works for you, bestie. Whatever works for you. Whatever gets the job done. This video also includes a new monthly weigh-in segment as well. And to be honest, I'm a bit unclear on why we need a separate monthly weigh-in segment. Like, why couldn't she just do that in her regular weekly weigh-in segment? Like, if she wanted to give an update about like how much weight she's lost for the whole month, I think that would make sense, and that would be a great place to do it. So I don't understand logically why she's doing it that way, but like, live your truth, I guess, bestie. And you know what? Now that I say that, I'm thinking back to how I said that we don't know where she's at chronologically, but she does say that that was like February 1st or something. So I guess there we are. I guess we do know a little bit about where things are chronologically. She also reviews Billie Eilish's new perfume in a way that only a true poetress, writer like Amberlynn could describe something, anything.
It's like in your face. This one's more sharp, where her first one, it's more like vanilla, which is more rounded. It's weird. Letters have colors, perfumes have freaking shapes. Yeah, this one is more sharp. It's floral.
She gives a brief weight loss surgery update. She's now going to be tracking things in a food journal, and that's a result of taking this like dietitian course on the internet. And she talks about how the course is nice because it validates what she's already known.
Like, I just love learning. A lot of things I already know about nutrition, like being a yo-yo dieter. And it's nice to hear and be validated on things that like you already know.
And like I said, at the beginning in that first video, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm like learning so much new information, blah, 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 blah. And it's interesting to me that within a week's time of filming videos, she's already like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Oh yeah, I knew that. Oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm just like, also, when have you ever shown like your deep understanding of nutrition on your channel? I'm not sure that I have. I don't know. I guess really like if she does know all of this stuff, that's great. I think the reason I'm bringing it up genuinely and honestly is that I think it's more reflective of just like her like all in attitude that she gets at the beginning of any new thing on her channel, whether that's a weight loss journey, whether that's a new hobby, whatever it is. She always goes in with this all-in attitude and extreme confidence, and I'm glad that she feels confident, but I'm also just like, I don't know, bestie. Like, maybe wait and see. And it's also interesting because she says things like how she's no longer worried about rapid weight loss because of, you know, the whole gallbladder situation thing that happened when she was doing keto like a few months ago.
It feels like I'm rapidly losing weight and I'm accepting it as what it is. I don't even care. As you guys know, I was like freaked out about the whole rapid weight loss because of my gallstones, but I don't care. There's surgery for that. I have insurance for that. I don't care.
And while I think it checks out that like maybe she shouldn't be overly worried about the rapid weight loss or whatever, and I think that's a point a lot of people tried to make, I think that's the perfect example also of Amberlynn just doing whatever thing is gonna fit with the narrative from her doctors that she hears, right? Because like my critique at the time is just like, why wasn't she talking to these different doctors, right? The keto thing came from her lymphedema specialist, and the direction to stop doing keto came from like her general care physician, her primary care physician. Both of those things conflicted with what her psychologist was telling her at the time, and she wasn't talking to all three of them at all, period. And it's just like, it doesn't make sense that you're not consulting with all of these people and giving them all of the information. And in this case, it sounds like she got a message from some part of this weight loss surgery clinic that said, don't worry about this, just do what you gotta do and everything's gonna be fine. Because now she's like, well, there's surgery that can take care of the gallbladder. There's surgery that can do that. There's insurance that can take care of that. I'm just like, yeah, there was surgery and insurance that could take care of those things prior to this too. And here we are, bestie. So like, again, I think it's just a matter of like, she's got this idea and narrative that she's running with that works with what is best for her right now, but like conflicts with things that we know she's been told by doctors in the past. So again, I'm glad she's feeling confident. I'm glad she's feeling positive. You know, I don't want to rain on that. I hope she can continue to have that energy and everything. I'm just, you know, pointing out patterns of behavior, okay? That's the key here. And then we get to her most recent video that I think she did post maybe Sunday or Monday, probably Monday actually. I don't know. The weekend was a bit of a blur for me, if you know what I'm saying. But we get to weigh in week 6. And of course she spends nearly the first minute of the video just explaining why she looks the way she does.
So, you guys, since I've gone through menopause, I don't take estrogen anymore. My hair texture is the worst it's ever been. And I think this is one of the big reasons why I wear my hair up in poop bun all the time. And people hate on me for it. It's because I don't know, it's just more dry now, and it has like these little tiny curls that I don't know where they came from. I mean, obviously it's not like curly hair, but it's just like this weird waviness, but it's just like so dry. And the only way that it looks good, in my opinion, is if I straighten it, but I don't like adding heat to my hair all the time. It's a whole thing. That's not what this video is about, but I don't know. I just feel really self-conscious about it, but I felt like I needed to wear my hair down more because poop bun is making me feel self-conscious as well. So it's like, When do we win here?
And I'm tempted to say, bestie, you look the same as you always do, but she really hasn't had her hair down like that in a while. So I'll give it to you this one time, bestie. And of course, Philosophical Lynn just discovered the concept of being uncomfortable and not immediately giving in to whatever you want at any time of day, not being able to just have whatever you want whenever you want it.
A lot of people say one day at a time, and I disagree. I feel like it's one discomfort at a time. You guys have been hearing me say the word discomfort a lot lately, and I think I want to explain a little bit more what I mean by discomfort.
And she's now made it her entire personality for the week. So here we are. I mean, like, literally there's a point where she just like repeats the word over and over and over again.
And I think to finally be successful, something has to click up here. And something clicked for me, and it's the fact that I beat discomfort. Discomfort, discomfort, discomfort. You guys are gonna hear this word from me a lot, and you're probably gonna get really freaking annoyed.
And again, I think the idea of like having to live with some level of discomfort in our lives, regardless of if we're talking about her situation, which is food addiction, or like literally anything else, is so real. If you're not being realistic about having to be uncomfortable sometimes in life, like I think that's just a fantasy land if you really think you could go through life not having to deal with any discomfort. And it does sound like she's done a lot of reflecting on that particular point. It just feels like an example of her all-in attitude, like she's so excited about this thing for now until she learns a new word next week. And she also reiterates in this video that she's just always known. She's just always known what to do.
It's like, okay, so everything that I have known before, I was obviously right, but I never took those steps in my weight loss journey while accepting the discomfort. Again, we're back with that discomfort. Like, that is literally it for me. And it's like, if you understand, you understand, and if you don't, you don't. And you're probably looking at me like I have a third head.
Yeah, she just never did it while she was in discomfort or dealing with her discomfort. It's just like, I get it. She's reflected. It's just really hard to, watch it and think that this isn't any different than any of the other revelations she's had on her channel. I hope that this is the time, just to be clear. I hope that this is the time. One thing that I thought was interesting is that she claimed she was no longer reading comments on her videos, but she literally did just make a community tab post within the last week thanking people for all of the support recently. Which she did clarify she also only reads the comments on community tab posts because that's where she's like trying to engage with the audience. But up until she made that post, like, what kind of positivity was happening on community tab posts that she was seeing? So she did get an influx of like support on her videos from the French speaking community, as I think a lot of you are aware of. So I'm just like, I don't understand, I guess, like where she claimed to have seen all of that positive support when she also says she's not reading comments on videos. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand my confusion there? In this video, she also clarifies the difference between, having a binge eating disorder. She specifically, actually, in this video says that you can binge and not have a binge eating disorder.
So there is a such thing as someone who binges versus someone who has binge eating disorder. Those two things can happen separately. And what I mean by that, and what I have recently learned, and actually what my psychologist has told me as well, is that you don't have to have binge eating disorder to binge on occasion.
And she allegedly was told that by her psychologist, so I hope that's true. I hope that is the case, and she's listening to somebody who is there to help her and support her and has way more information than we do. But again, I think the disconnect for me and probably a lot of people watching is that Amberlynn has been saying that this is what her diagnosis has been for a while. It's been what she has like latched onto in terms of like understanding her weight and her weight loss or lack of weight loss. And, we sat through her making all of these bullet journals where she talked about if she binged or if she didn't binge, if she overate versus binging. And so it just seems like such a shock to the system because, like, we have been in Amberland listening to her tell us that this is what's going on for the past, I don't know how long she's been saying it, but for a long time, okay? This is not a new thing, and all of a sudden that's not what the issue is. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how the weight loss surgery, like a lot of weight loss surgery places don't necessarily want to give surgery to people with eating disorders, and that they're less likely to do that. I don't know how true that is, but I will say it does feel like a weird coincidence. Okay, this is the tiniest bit of speculation from me, but it feels like a weird coincidence that like she has started this journey and now all of a sudden like this problem that she's had in her life for such a long time is no longer the actual problem. I honestly, just from like listening to her talk about all of this, like feel like it's not an either or but a both and. It sounds like she does deal with like being addicted to food and also struggling with binging. That's just my thoughts on like me processing all the things that Amberlynn has ever shared about her life. And she does, again, clarify that she's been talking to professionals about this. I'm curious, like, who that is, but I mean, I guess that's maybe also none of our business, I guess. I don't know. Because, you know, she says that she hasn't been going to the old psychologist and she hasn't yet set up an appointment with the new one. But in this video, she's down to 508.2, so that means she's at 6.8 pounds, and she may start doing what I ate today videos, but she wanted to wait until she was more successful than that, or with her current eating, like, behaviors, before she started doing that. And I actually think that that speaks to something that I've said for so long, which is that she always does better with all of these things when she just doesn't post about it at all. And I would love to come on here and watch videos about her that were not related to that, like to her eating, to her weight loss, to her whoever, whatever, because there are so many more things about Amberlynn that we could talk about outside of her weight. I think she is way more successful, historically documented successful, when she's not talking about it on YouTube. And she has proven that by saying, like, I haven't been showing you everything I eat in a day because I just wanted to, like, make sure I could do it successfully without sharing it to YouTube. And spoiler alert, she did. And I think that's also an important conversation. I'm not sure which video she talked about it in, but she did talk about how, you know, she just wanted to be able to document this so that she could look back on it when she was successful. And that is a thing that she has said off and on throughout my years of watching her as well. It's apparent she's not actually going back and like watching her journey or learning from her journey. You know, when you talk about wanting to document something so you can look back at it, a lot of that I would think would be because you want to like reflect on how far you've come, on what you've done successfully, what you've done well, what you could improve upon. But if she was really interested in, like, just documenting this for the sake of, like, her being able to look back and see how successful she was, I think that she would be a little bit more cognizant of, like, the old videos that she's made and where she's come from. I don't know. That's just a brief thought I had when she was talking about that in one of these videos. And also checks out with, like, her talking about not wanting to film what I ate in a days until she was successful with it. I don't know, just a lot to think there and unpack there. There's maybe some connections there to consider. But yeah, this is probably not news for anybody, but so many of the things in the 4 different videos I watched were just repeats of the same thing. You know, I don't think that I've always been so aware of how similar all of her videos tend to be sometimes, until I sat and watched 4 of them all in one sitting and was like, oh, so much of this was the same stuff just repeated over and over and over again in 4 different videos. And of course, almost all of the clips in these videos, whether it's for the weigh-ins or the vlogs, were all just her sitting down and talking to the camera, which I think I would really appreciate if we could, like, get up and do something. I mean, I guess the diamond paintings were something, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the situation. Hoping we can get some more non-weight loss related content soon. because, you know, a big critique of me recently is that, like, I'm allegedly fat phobic and things like that, right? And I think it's difficult to say that just because you're discussing somebody who is fat, that the only thing you could be talking about, one, is that they're fat, and two, that you're talking about it in a negative way. And the reality is that all my favorite content of Amberlynn's is the stuff that's not about her weight loss. That's just point blank, period, my favorite type of content. And so this was actually a lot to get through this week because there wasn't a video that didn't spend time talking about her weight loss, and it is her life, and it is a part of who she is. And I think it is worth talking about to some extent, to the extent that I feel comfortable talking about it. I mean, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to try to tell her she's doing everything right or everything wrong. However, I would like to see something else. You know, I hope that this isn't the only stuff we get over the next, like, few months, because I'm gonna burn out real quick on that. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. That's all I have time for today. And thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday on my community tab post or in the comments or on Twitter or Instagram. I really appreciate it. I had a wonderful birthday this year. It was a very pretty birthday. February 4th is a pretty date. And thanks so much for watching. If you're brand new, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!